Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you so much for joining us here on Sledgehammer TV today for your official NXT TakeOver Wargames review. And even with everything the WWE has done in desperation to make Survivor Series to be a much better card, there is almost no way, it is a literal impossible achievement for them to top what we've seen tonight at the War Games, and we are here to talk about it right here and right now on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of YouTube, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. So, let's do it. Adam Cole, baby! Alright, wrestling fans, thank you so much once again for joining me here on the channel today. My name is Nick Nightmare. Along with me, as always, is my loyal companion, my trusty tag team partner, and most importantly, the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones, Blue the Snowball, and we are here to discuss last night's simply amazing NXT TakeOver War Games from Houston, Texas. I get chills just thinking about it all over again. This was a damn near perfect show, if not a perfect show, period. This show's two undercard matches were instrumental in now launching the careers of both Lars Sullivan and the Velveteen Dream. Two absolutely standout performances. Something unlike anything we have seen recently on television. Lars Sullivan is absolutely amazing. He is a beast amongst men, not to try to paraphrase from Braun Strowman's thing, but I've never seen anything like him. He reminds me of The Thing from the Fantastic Four. Like if The Thing was an actual human and he wasn't made of rocks and orange and all bouldery and whatever, he would be Lars Sullivan. This guy is an animal. The strength he possesses, it's just absolutely something to behold. Let me tell you guys a little something about Lars Sullivan. This guy came off the radar out of nowhere. Nobody knew who he was. He has no previous wrestling experience. He was just as plain can be. No fancy entrance stuff, no crazy music, although his music was pretty good. But he wasn't packaged like a superstar. And this man made himself a superstar just in his presence and in the way he wrestles in the ring. He absolutely threw around a man way bigger than him. Cassius Ohno is nobody to look past. Cassius Ohno is a tremendous talent. He has got talent for days. And Lars Sullivan made him look like a chump. Made him look like a little baby. Like a duffel bag being beaten down by a bear. It was absolutely fantastic. In the same token, you had the very hyped, very well-built story between the Velveteen Dream and Aleister Black. All the Dream wants is for Aleister Black to recognize him and say his name. Know who I am because I am something special. That's really all he wants. Aleister Black hasn't said a word since entering NXT. Not a single word. And he will not say this man's name. Week in and week out, the build was even better. It just made you anticipate this match. And boy, did it deliver in huge ways. I absolutely love Patrick Clark. You know, a few years back when he was on Tough Enough, right from the first couple of episodes, I had a tremendous respect for this guy and I wanted him to win just based off of his passion as a wrestling fan. He was calling out some of the other competitors who were clearly there just for 5 minutes of fame on a reality TV show and didn't know jack about wrestling. And he called them out on it constantly. He knows what it takes to become a professional wrestler. It's been his dream, just like most of us. He grew up watching guys like Rick Rude and Goldust, which are obvious obvious influences on the man's character. He molded it all together into this fantastic piece of business that they did tonight. And he is definitely somebody you guys got to keep on your radar. The Velveteen Dream is absolutely fantastic. This match tonight was a strike fest of epic proportions. Stiff, colossal kicks, vicious fists and forearms. The reach of the Velveteen Dream is absolutely breathtaking. Aleister Black at one point caught the Velveteen Dream as he tried to kick him in the midsection, and the man's reach clearly slapped Aleister Black straight across the face with ease. Like he didn't even have to try. The man's wingspan is so impressive. The way he moves in the ring is fluid. The way he worked against Aleister Black tonight shows you the potential that he has to be great. So much so to the fact that the crowd was actually chanting for the Velveteen Dream at points throughout this match. Aleister Black clearly was the favorite. Nobody was disappointed when in the end Aleister Black would deliver the Black Mass and after a tremendous encounter would finally get the win. And then the crowd would go on to chant, and I was just cracking up at this in my chair because I felt the same way. I'm like, man, after that match you just had, you should just say his name. Just say it. He deserves it. He proved that he could hang with one of the best in the world. I loved it. And Aleister Black sat next to the Velveteen Dream, who was clawing and pawing at him, simply drained of every last bit of energy that he had. And Aleister Black said, "Enjoy your infamy, Velveteen Dream," calling him by his name, essentially making both men winners. Because, like I said at the beginning, all the Dream wanted was for Black to say his name. And now he has. He has recognized him, and I am so interested to see where this goes from here. If they just go off on their own separate paths and Aleister Black starts marching his way towards the NXT Championship after what happened tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. The Velveteen Dream and Aleister Black had the match of the night, hands down. Even though the War Games, we are going to exclude that because War Games is War Games, and you cannot compare a War Games match to the actual regular matches that took place on this night. As far as that match of the night, absolutely hands down. After this, we were treated to the Women's Fatal 4-Way. Now, the WWE main roster has had Fatal 4-Ways and 5-Ways all year long, to the point where I don't even want to see any more, maybe ever. It was actually bringing down this match only because we've seen so many Fatal 4-Ways and 5-Ways, like I said already. Why did we have to do another one here? I would have much rather maybe like a tournament-style breakdown and get to your final two competitors and have a nice competitive one-on-one match. But I certainly have been made to eat my words tonight because this match was better than every single thing the main roster has put forth this year as it pertains to the women's division and their multi-person matches. This is a Fatal 4-Way the way it's supposed to be. It was high impact. It was dramatic. It was unpredictable. There were points at this match where you really believed each one of these girls are going to win this match. Kairi Sane, a heavy favorite going into this match, had an absolutely fantastic outing in this match. Every single one of these girls looked viable. They looked powerful. They looked strong. They looked hungry. And they all looked like they wanted to walk out with that piece of gold around their waist. They absolutely floored me with their performances tonight. Peyton Royce especially, I don't give her a lot of credit. You know, as I'm watching, I never really thought she has it, but tonight she proved that she can go with three of the toughest around. She definitely did not look like a weak link. She was delivering moves back and forth. She executed her perfect plex and almost got the win, but it was broken up by Kairi Sane at the last minute. Ember Moon looked phenomenal throughout this match, as did Nikki Cross. Lots of high spots. top rope swinging neck breaker by Nikki Cross. The most interesting thing about this match was actually in the finish, because it just kind of came out of nowhere as Peyton Royce looked to be gaining the advantage on Nikki Cross, where out of nowhere Ember Moon would come flying through the sky, and it was absolutely gorgeous when they showed it in slow motion. Her timing, her reach, her body language, everything about it just was executed perfectly. Absolutely flawless. Ember Moon hits a double eclipse on both Peyton Royce and Nikki Cross, pins Nikki Cross for the win. 1, 2, 3, your new women's champion of NXT, the 6th woman in history to be crowned as such. Congratulations is in order to Ember Moon. An absolutely fantastic match. Fantastic match. Kairi Sane, like I said, was an absolute standout. She looked to be the one that was going to win this match. There was one little spot where she was able to deliver her insane elbow, and it was on top of two women. You had Peyton Royce and Nikki Cross on top of one another in the ring. When she delivered the elbow drop, she would connect it onto Peyton Royce, who would roll out of the ring after the impact, and then Kairi would go on to pin Nikki Cross, who did not absorb the blunt of the blow. Oh, that was hard to say. The blunt of the blow, the impact from the elbow, was mainly taken by Peyton, so Nikki Cross was not as out of it, and she did not secure the victory there, even though that looked to be her shot at victory in this match. Each one of these girls had a chance to win this match. It was absolutely fantastic. Go back and watch it. The best women's matchup that I have seen maybe all year as far as it goes with the Fatal 4-Ways. Now, we're going to talk about the NXT Heavyweight Championship matchup. The champion, Drew McIntyre, going up against Andrade Cien Almas with Zelina Vega by his side. Zelina Vega has single-handedly changed the career trajectory of Almas to the point where we now are sitting here today telling you that Almas is the new NXT Heavyweight Champion. And it came as a shock to me. I know most of you wise guys is out there and everybody who thinks they know everything. You know, we all were just expecting Drew McIntyre to retain here. It seems to be the way they do things at NXT. This was a big takeover event. We thought this was going to be Drew McIntyre's, comeuppance as champion. He was going to put on a great match, fend off his competitor, fend away the challenger, and solidify his reign, marching towards probably an encounter with Adam Cole or Aleister Black. That is clearly not the case. And we also have coming out of this match the story of Drew McIntyre possibly tearing his bicep. We will have to wait on more as it pertains to that. Triple H, after the show, did make mention of the fact that Drew McIntyre is going for an MRI this morning. And if it is what they believe it is, he most likely will be out with surgery for a little while. It remains to be seen what the facts are. But this match, again, was fantastic. Absolutely something that I never expected to come out of these two guys. Andrade Cien Almas, he came into this thing, into NXT, a year or two ago, and had a little bit of momentum, but nobody really cared. His whole package that he was coming out with, his suspenders and his little Robin Hood hat, and he looked like a dummy. And nobody really cared about him just based off of that. His in-ring talent was being overlooked. And now we have him having a career resurgence under the guiding wings of Zelina Vega. And he now finds himself as the champion. What a turnaround. What a turnaround for one superstar to see how they could go from bottom of the barrel to the top guy on the brand. Like Mauro Ranallo said, Almas now sits atop of the mountain of NXT. And I'm absolutely ecstatic about it. I could not believe how excited even I was in that moment where Almas won the title. Not only was it just shock, but I was just like, wow, that's awesome. This guy is really great. And the match he had last night, with Drew McIntyre, is all the proof you need. Watch that match. He was unstoppable. He clearly wanted to be the champion. Every move he made was calculated and was planning to something else following up afterwards. Some of the most fantastic sequences you will see came from Almas on this night. Those running double knees into the corner twice. That insane DDT that he threw up. Don't forget the fact that Zelina Vega twice would try to get involved, was successful only in one of those two attempts, but that was all you needed. She came in and hit a spiked Rana on Drew McIntyre as he was lying dazed in the ring. Andrade Cien Almas would come back in, deliver that guillotine DDT. I thought the match was over right there, but Drew would kick out. He would go to deliver a Claymore that flipped Almas. Clear 360 flip. Boom. I thought it was over right there, but it was not. Almas would not be denied. He would take a future shock DDT from Drew McIntyre. He would kick out. He would not be denied. Zelina Vega was able to help him on another 3 count. She was able to grab at his leg just enough for him to go, oh yeah, my leg. And then he put the leg on the bottom rope, stopping Drew McIntyre for getting the win in the one spot where that was it. I thought that was going to be the end of the match. And he survived again, only to go on to deliver a very impressive maneuver as he would get Drew McIntyre off the top rope, balance him ever so slightly, and spike DDT him, absolutely brutal, and would gain the 3 count. That would surprise me. It just did not seem to me like that was going to be the finish of the match, and when he did not kick out, and that referee's hand hit the 3, and the crowd in Houston went berserk, I popped for it on my couch. It was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely great storytelling. If Drew McIntyre is actually hurt, I do not know if it happened during this match. It definitely looked a couple of times to me, watching it a second time before doing this review, that there were a few spots when he went into the ring post. That could have been where he did something. I don't know if he was coming into this match with the injury, and maybe that is why they chose to go with Almas as the champion, or if maybe he injured it mid-match, told the referee, and then they changed the finish, which is absolutely not beyond the realm of possibility for that to happen in the world of pro wrestling. That's some kind of inside stuff that you can't say we'll never know, but we definitely do not know what the reasoning behind this move is politically, if it's injury-based or whatever. But regardless, Andrade Cien Almas proved to the world that he is definitely el ídolo and is absolutely amongst now the upper echelon of NXT talent. Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, all former NXT champions, Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura. That's some pretty good company to be a part of. And he definitely took a long time to get there, and he earned his way to the top. Regardless if Zelina Vega was the catalyst to get him there or not, he's there, and he's the champion of the best brand in the greatest wrestling company in the world. And absolutely fantastic. And now's where this review is going to go off the rails, because the War Games match was something that was so satisfying to me. It's not often that you get to watch something and feel a simultaneous feeling of nostalgia and anticipation for what's to come in the future. The 9 guys in this match, it goes without saying that they are bona fide superstars. Each and every one of them could be implanted on the main roster tomorrow. The Authors of Pain, Sanity, The Undisputed Era, Roderick Strong, definitely took what they were given tonight. This opportunity to be in a once-in-a-lifetime matchup created by one of the co-founders of NXT himself, Dusty Rhodes. A match we haven't seen in 2 decades. A match with a great history and legacy. And a reputation for being ultra-violent. And ultra-brutal. And they took this concept. They made it their own. There was a few changes to the original style to the way they pull it off now. But after the fact, that's peanuts. It doesn't matter what minor changes they made. This War Games matchup was one of the most beautiful moments of chaos I have witnessed in some time. I was always a big fan of War Games. When they brought it back in the heyday of WCW and we got to see the NWO Black and White versus the NWO Wolfpack versus Team WCW, things like that were fantastic. But back even further, when you had the Road Warriors versus the Horsemen. Those were the matches that I remember. Flair's head being covered red. His white platinum locks being a bright, bright red all the way throughout. The brutality and the viciousness. The guys' bodies laid out, unable to even get back to their feet. This is what War Games was about. You needed to survive. You couldn't win, you needed to survive. And tonight, that is exactly what we've seen. And ramped up to the next level. Because today's talents take risks and are freely giving of their bodies, and they want to outdo everything we already know and everything we've already seen. And that's all I could really say about this War Games match. It was out of control in a good way from the beginning to end. This match started out with Eric Young, Adam Cole, baby, and Roderick Strong. Every 5 minutes, 2 members of a team would be released from their shark cage. And not until everybody is in this matchup does this match officially begin, and nobody can gain a pinfall or submission victory before each and every entrant has made their way into the cage. Also, if you leave the cage for any reason, your whole entire team is disqualified and lose. Those were the rules laid out, and I thought it was great, and they definitely made it effective. We had the Undisputed Era released from their cage first, and then would dominate Eric Young and Roderick Strong, just completely having their way with these guys. And then we would have the Authors of Pain entered into the match, and we would get much in the same, but to a whole nother level. The Authors of Pain just taking these guys and throwing them literally from ring to ring, and then would take Roderick Strong and throw him into everybody over the top rope like he was nothing. It was so much going on in this match. And then Sanity would be released, and things would really get crazy. Because not only was Sanity released and entered into the match, but Killian Dane would go berserk on the outside, start throwing all the weapons in the ring. Garbage cans, kendo sticks, the crowd's chanting for a table. He decides, what the hell? He goes and grabs a couple of tables, slides them into the ring. Then would get into the ring, lock the cage, add a steel chain around and lock it with a padlock, lock the key, and then swallowed the key. Who does that? That was freaking crazy. I'm like, my God, this guy is an animal. And he would prove to be even more of an animal throughout the rest of the match. This guy's almost 300 pounds, Killian Dane. Maybe more. And he's going up to the top rope, delivering crossbody splashes onto the whole entire field of competitors. And then would go on later on in the match to deliver a coast-to-coast to Kyle O'Reilly, who was laid out with a trash can in his face in the opposing corner. This man shouldn't be able to do these kind of things. Alexander Wolf, another standout from Sanity. This guy at one point in the match would grab Rezar or Akam, whichever one, I don't know which one it is, unless you tell me who it was, and would grab him on the second turnbuckle, do a release German suplex into the table, exploding and splintering the table into a million pieces. We had the Authors of Pain pulling off a super collider from one ring to the other, meeting in the middle, colliding Killian Dane in between the bodies of the Undisputed Era. There was just chaos and mayhem everywhere. Alexander Wolf brought in a billy club started knocking people out with billy clubs. Eric Young was all over the place. People were flying off the top ropes, breaking up 2 and 3 counts. It was simply beautiful, beautiful mayhem. It was fantastic. If you didn't watch it, you missed out on an absolute spectacle and a feat of athleticism that you have not seen in the WWE in God, I don't know how long. This is easily better than any Hell in a Cell that they put on, any Elimination Chamber they put on. This outdoes them all. Bar none. These last 2-3 years, those gimmick matches, they're all garbage. They stink. Because nobody understands how to put over the match. These 9 guys tonight understood what it takes to make a War Games match. And it will go down in history as maybe one of the best ever. If not the best ever. If not for simply the one moment at the end where Roderick Strong would meet Adam Cole up on top of the cage. He was just hanging out up there for a lot of this match. Hanging out on top of the cage, waiting for his prime moment to strike. And he would end up getting stopped by Roderick Strong, who would then superplex him into everybody, knocking them all over like bowling pins in a bowling alley, getting a clean strike, taking everybody out. There was just so much going on in this match. It was absolutely incredible. Go back and watch it a second time. I did. It's one of those matches that as a reviewer you hate as a reviewer because it's hard to talk about. It's hard to remember everything that happened. You don't want to sit there and just keep writing, and you're invested in the match, so you don't take your notes properly. You know what I mean? It's just, that's when you know a show is great. That's when you know. When you can sit here and be like, this match was so good that I'm almost speechless about it. How much more can you really say? War Games was absolutely fantastic. The crowd in Houston, I have to give props to the Houston crowd at the arena last night. Obviously, they know their stuff. Obviously, they're NXT. But the interaction of the crowd last night definitely made this show go from, if it was considered an 8, the crowd definitely put it at a 9. And then, when you got to give credit where credit's due, Mauro Ranallo and Nigel McGuinness on this night. I don't know how they're even talking at all today. The excitement and the passion in Ranallo's voice as he called each and every single matchup on this night was not wavering. It did not die. He was as excited for Sullivan and Cassius Ohno as he was throughout the entirety of the War Games. He said "Mamma Mia" about 9,000 times at the top of his lungs. Absolutely fantastic broadcasting, which brought it from, if it was a 9, 10. I'm telling you right now, NXT TakeOver War Games was a 10 out of 10. Absolutely fantastic. Building towards the future, making superstars, 2 title changes, and 1 epic War Games encounter that Triple H said in his little interview after the show. Due to the performance of these guys tonight, he truly believes that they built a new brand for the WWE, and this most likely will not be the last time we see War Games. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Don't forget to check out everything else on the channel. We have our top 5 worst Survivor Series moments. For me personally, that video is up. We got the Survivor Series predictions. If you haven't checked those out, Survivor Series is going on live in just about 4 hours from now. I will be there watching with great anticipation. I'm actually excited for Survivor Series. So excited that I couldn't even say the phrase. And we're going to get ready to rock and roll and get our snacks and our cold beverages ready and sit down and enjoy the Thanksgiving tradition that is Survivor Series. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up if you like today's show. Subscribe if you are not a member of the Sledgehammer Club already. I don't know what you're waiting for. And if you made it this far and you watched me all the way to this point, you enjoyed the show. So please do subscribe, become part of the family. Make sure you smash that thumbs up. Check out our sponsor in the link below. Clutch Chairs. In the description you will find the link. Just click that. Go check out some WWE stuff over there and enjoy yourself while you're doing it. And I will see you guys later on tonight for the Survivor Series. review, results, and reactions. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones, Blue the Snowball, telling you War Games was awesome, and we will see you later on tonight for Survivor Series. Until then, have a good one.